What's going on, Savages? If you need to boot a rig to a USB and then burn and mining OS image to an SSD in that same rig, then you might be on the right channel. We're going to give it a shot. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we're going to give it a shot, so stay tuned. So let's see what we are trying to do. Well, actually, here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to download a operating system to install on a USB, and then a Linux operating system to install on a USB, and then boot a rig to it, and then from that USB, download and install or burn an image, a mining OS image, to an SSD in the same rig. If that makes sense. I don't know. I'm confused too. So let's give it a shot. The very first thing that we need to do is obtain a USB, and in this case I already have one. I think this is a 32 gig. Pretty cheap USB, but it's been somewhat reliable. You know, I've got a bunch of them. I've got these are probably way better. These are the Samsung. They're like all metal, really super cool. Those are nice, but I've got a lot of these 32 gig. Verbatim store and go or stow and go or something like that. Anyway, these are what I run most of the operating systems off of. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to download Linux. Now, I already downloaded it to save a little bit of time here. See here. But I'll show you where I got it from. Let me just clean up this folder real quick. I think all I did was I just grabbed Ubuntu 18.04. I think all I did was I went, like just do a search for Ubuntu, right? And then I think it takes you to ubuntu.com and then you go to download, and then you say the desktop version. So I chose the LTS version, the long-term support. This is the one that gets a little bit of updates and stuff like that. Like the other version won't get updates. It'll just stay as is. So I grabbed 1804. You can see that right here. And if we click that, yeah, this is what I came up to before. It says it'll start automatically, and it does. So there you go. That's exactly where I got it from. You can kind of see that because it puts a 1 on there. So anyway, so I downloaded the OS. Then from this station, I'm just going to and this is an ISO, right? So it is designed to burn to an image or burn to a device, and in this case a USB or a CD, whatever, that you're going to boot off of and boot to that operating system. So let's check it out. And the way that we're going to use Balena Etcher to get the image, get this ISO onto the thumb drive, if that makes sense. All right, so let's do it. So if we go to I already have Balena Etcher installed, but if you don't, then you would go to, I think it is Balena. Yeah. So if you go to balena.io, now if you go to this website, it'll auto detect. It's basically auto detecting your operating system, so it'll put the correct option in here for you to download. So you just download it and install it. I don't think that they have a portable version. I think I want to say that the old Etcher they did have a portable version. I don't think that this one does though. Oh, actually, yeah, here we go, boom. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so that's just an executable, right? So we'll go ahead and download that. I like that. I like the portable apps, that's not bad. We'll actually use the portable one. I don't think I've ever clicked on that little option there, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, it auto detects, so I usually just go with that one. but in this case, I'm going to do the portable. And all the portable means is that it's not going to, it doesn't require an install, right? It's just an exe that you run and that's it. So we're going to double click on that. And hopefully it doesn't crash my machine. And I kind of forgot about that until right now. I remembered that this was giving my machine a little bit of a problem before. So if I lose you, I will be back. Maybe the portable version won't do it. And then after it happened that one night, the next night we tried it again and it didn't happen again. So hopefully, crossing my fingers that it won't crash my machine right now. So we're going to go select image because we want to identify this ISO as what we want to burn to the USB. So select image, select that ISO, select the target. The disk, or I'm sorry, the USB drive is still in my hand. So I'm going to insert that and you'll be able to see it pop up there. Should be able to. And unfortunately, it's going into a USB 2.0 port, so it's going to be a little slow, but won't be too bad. All right, so there is the drive, USB, the verbatim store and go. Okay, so continue. And then right here, normally, well, what was happening whenever it was crashing was it'll crash whenever I click flash, because I'm trying to do a lot from an old computer here. So we'll see what happens. And actually, you know what? Forget that. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to crash the stream. So just assume that I clicked flash. I already have it done on the disk, and plus that'll save time because we won't have to wait, or on the drive on the USB. So it's already, this part is already done. So you would just click flash, and then I think it's going to ask you, are you sure, or something like that, and you just say yes, and then you just have to wait it out. So you wait on it to burn the ISO to the USB drive. In this case, it's already on there. Oh, something else about Etcher. Let me go back to that. So if you don't want it to, actually in this case it doesn't matter, you kind of want it to eject after the burn, but you can set the options to not eject on success and to not validate, like they are right here. So that way it doesn't eject. In the case that you're burning like a mining OS and you need to edit your config file or whatever, then you would set it to not eject. And you can see my settings are set already to not eject. And then unsafe mode is burning to or accessing the actual hard drives in the system. So typically that's going to be off because you're going to be dealing with a USB. So so anyway, so we're just going to pretend that we click flash and we waited on that to happen. Then we're going to eject the drive. All right. So now we have burned a bootable Ubuntu 18.04 image ISO to this USB drive. So now we're going to boot the rig to it. So we're going to throw this in the rig and we're going to boot up to this operating system. So you're not going to be able to see anything really for a moment here, but I am still here. I have to, it's a little dark in here, so I have to hit some like flashlights and stuff and put things in the right locations, and then we will boot up this rig over here. You probably see a little bit of flashlight there. All right, so now we're going to boot this rig, if I can reach it. All right, so what should happen here, you should see on the screen here in a moment. This is the rig. This is the Kessel rig, the NVIDIA rig. Doesn't really, that part really doesn't matter at this point. But now it's booting off of the USB. So now it's booting a whole entire operating system off of the USB. And it's Ubuntu 18.04. Like what we just downloaded. Same thing. And it really is not really that slow either. It's actually in a USB 3.0 slot right now, so it's not really that bad. It does boot up fairly quickly, so it's not, you know, it's not like blazing fast or anything, but it's decent. Okay, so then it comes up to this screen, and it's asking you, do you want to try Ubuntu? Actually, you guys cannot see that for some reason. Let's see here. Why is that such a bad picture? Let me see if I can fix that for you real quick. All right, so let me see if you can zoom that up a little bit. That's not gonna work. Okay, so anyway, you probably can't really read that. I don't know if you can read that or not. Actually, you should be able to. I think you can see that. So where it says try Ubuntu, right? So we're gonna choose that because we don't need to install it. All we want to do is run it from the disk, run it from the USB. So we're gonna choose try Ubuntu. All right, let me check the chat, see who's in here. What's up, Dakota? What's up, Eric? What's up, Crypto Mikkel? Red Panda, what's up, man? Yeah, Crypto Mikkel, you probably know more about this junk than I do. I'm kind of winging it here. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, so let me fix this video if I can. At least a little bit here. That looks a little bit better. Okay. All right. So now we are booted up off of a USB drive into Ubuntu on a rig that already has an SSD attached, right? So the SSD is already there. It's already recognized, or it should be. And we want to burn a mining OS, because this is just Ubuntu by itself. This is Ubuntu desktop, right? So this is not the mining OS. So now we need to grab the mining OS. And what we're going to do is we're going to download, I've already done it on this particular USB, but you would go to, in this case, you would go to hashrateos.com, I think. hashrateos.com. So all I did was I opened up Mozilla over there, which is default. All right, so it doesn't like that. Typed in something wrong apparently. What did I do? I thought that was the right URL. Let me double check here. Oh, let me take the OS off there. All right, here we go. And then we go to Hashrate OS. There's a link right here. You'll be able to kind of see where I'm clicking there. It's right here. All right, so we're gonna click that. And then you would have to log in. I think you have to log in before you can get to the download link. So you have to actually register first, I believe. Yeah, see right here, it says register your rigs and start mining. So I think that, click this one. Yeah, so you have to actually register and log in before it will allow you to click to access the download link. I think other OSs don't require that, at least some of them. So you would be able to use this same procedure for other OSs, or some of them. But I think that they actually give you access to the download link without actually registering. So, all right, so right here you see download over here. So we're going to click that. It says, do you want to download a hash rate image? Okay. And then I've actually already done it. But you would click save file and then put it on in the downloads folder or wherever. So I've already done that part. I'm not going to go through that again. The second thing that you'll need to do is download Balena Etcher again, right? So we did it on the original PC, but that's only because we needed to get the ISO burned to the USB so that we could boot off of it. So now we need to go to on the rig, boot it into Ubuntu 18.04. We need to grab Balena Etcher from there or download it. So we would go to Etcher, I'm sorry, I think it's Balena. Balena, balena.io, and then you can see right here how it defaults to the OS that you're using. But I wonder if they have, I don't know if that means, if app image, does that mean portable? Probably. I don't know. Okay, so anyway, I already downloaded this. So whenever you click download, it will go into the downloads folder, I believe. I'm going to go over here to files, downloads, empty. Right, so maybe it doesn't save them because I'm booted up into like a temporary OS here. Thought it did though. I thought that's what, oh, you know what? Maybe not. Okay. All right, so we need to go back in there and actually do it. So we're going to click download on the OS. Okay. Then we're going to save the file. So okay there. I'm going to download that, probably, yeah, put it in downloads. And then on the Balena Etcher side, we need to do the same thing. We'll go back to Balena Etcher, balena.io, click on Etcher probably somewhere. And then we're going to download for Linux x64. Save file again. So both of those should be in the downloads folder now. Here we go. All right. So now, like they were already in there, but I don't know about that. Let's see. All right. Let's see. I'm not a Linux guy, so give me a minute here. What we need to do first is, I'm assuming that this is done. Did it already? Maybe not. Maybe now it's done. All right. So I was a little bit impatient there. It wasn't done yet. Oh, that's hash rate. All right. So this is Balena Etcher. I think what we are supposed to do here is just click extract. I don't know if you guys can see that. Here you can see it. We're going to click extract here. We'll just extract it in place, that's fine. The extract button over here. You can see that. Okay, so it says extraction completed successfully. Show the files. I think this is. Alright, so I just ran that, the app image. Alright, so now I'm at the typical Etcher screen that we're probably all pretty familiar with. So then we're going to click select image. Here's our hashrate OS image in the same folder. It's all in downloads. I suggest you just put it all in downloads just for ease here. Then we're going to change the drive. So see, it looks like it has defaulted to the USB, which we don't want that because we want to go to the SSD. So hopefully it sees it in here, and it doesn't. Let's see here. Let me see if I can go with unsafe mode. Enable unsafe. Okay. Change. And there's the, I'm assuming, yeah, I'm pretty sure that that is the hard drive. Yep, it is, because right now I have Kudo on it. So this is the temporary SSD that I have in this system. So hopefully you saw what I did. So it wasn't showing up, right? So the hard drive that's attached to the system was not showing up with these settings, right? So it'll only show the USB because it figures that that's pretty safe. I'm sure that Etcher probably caught some crap, you know, with people overwriting or burning images to drives that like their system drive or their OS drive or whatever, and crashing their system and overwriting their all their data and everything. So they put in this little fail-safe, kind of a fail-safe anyway, that it defaults to not do that, right? So if you click on the little gear icon here and you have to choose unsafe mode, and it tells you right here, you're going to be able to overwrite a system drive if you do this. So we're going to enable unsafe mode. It's dangerous right here. So then we're going to go OK. And then we still have to change it though. So then we go back here to change, and then now that drive shows up. That drive meaning the SSD that I have temporarily attached. All right, so we're going to choose that drive, and then we're going to click continue and flash, and hopefully this works. It even asks you again, hey, it looks like you're trying to do this on an SSD. Are you sure? We're going to go continue. No idea how long this is going to take. Hopefully not too long. All right, so it's already at 10%. That's not too bad. So while that's going on, I will check the chat, see what you guys are up to. Yeah, AMD cards are sucking right now. Really bad. Really, really, really bad. Yeah, like right now, it seems like NVIDIA's pretty much the only thing even doing anything right now. Good grief, it's already done. Wow, look at that. Okay, all right, cool. I can deal with that. So now, I think we should be able to get out of here. We're gonna close that, close that, close that, close everything. And we should be able to actually power down the system. There's a little power button up here in the top right hand corner. You probably can't see it. We're going to hit the power button, and then we're going to go power off. And it's going to tell us, you know, to basically remove the drive and then hit enter. So I'm going to remove the USB drive. Now I have, here's the number 6, just for proof here, but here's the number 6 that I had earlier. So I have it in my hand now. And we are going to go ahead and press enter, and then it should power down the system, and it did. Now whenever we power it up, if your settings are set to boot off of the SSD, then I'm hoping that it will just boot off the SSD and go into Hashrate OS. Let's see. I think I have my yeah, I clearly do because it's already going to Hashrate OS. I was going to say, I think I have it set up to where it'll boot off of the SSD. So, all right. So right now, it is booting to Hashrate OS off of an SSD. And it looks like, let's see, what am I missing here? It should show up in my console, in my Hashrate OS console. And it should grab all the settings, I would imagine, because this is the same rig. It's just a different hard drive. Because normally I boot this drive to, or I boot into Hashrate OS off of a USB drive. But now it should be booting off of, or it should boot, it is booting off of an SSD. And it should go and get my config, I think. Wait a minute. No, it won't, because what I need to do, this is what I didn't do. Okay, so yeah, I was wondering, because what what I'm looking at here is root at rig. So remember, you have to edit that file, right? You have to add in your token to the config file. So let's see, that's what I did not do. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to shut down the rig, and we're gonna have to boot back up off of the USB. I just forgot this part, my bad. It did work, but I just forgot a critical step here to get this rig seen by Hashrate OS, which is kind of funny. Okay, so now I'm gonna throw the USB back into the rig. I need to boot off of that. So I need to go back into, basically what we should have done is we should have accessed the file system before we shut the system down and all that stuff. So we should have actually edited that file. I don't know if it's going to boot off of the USB now or the SSD. Hopefully the USB. Nope. Booting off the SSD. Right, so we're going to corrupt the OS here. Be great. That should be great to fix. Back in here. This motherboard is a little weird with booting off of different devices all the time. So I try to only feed it one device at a time. I'm gonna go in here and go to boot. This is a H110 Pro BTC Plus. Yeah, see right here, it kind of like, it set this setting on its own, right? So once it saw that there was an SSD attached that could boot, it actually changed this on its own, because I had it set to USB. I had it set to that USB verbatim store and go. So now it should be, change this one to, well, now it should be good. So hopefully now it'll boot off of the USB. If not, I'll just power down and disconnect the SSD. I don't think I said that it should boot off of the SSD, did I? I said USB, right? Or it might not boot at all. What is this thing doing? If it'll let me choose F11. Boot menu. No, it hates me. It should be past this by now. Just power cycling it one more time. All right, there we go. So it's booting back up into the Ubuntu USB drive. Basically, it just loads most of the OS into memory and runs it from there. Because you're not installing it, you're actually running the operating system off of the USB in memory. So even if it didn't have an SSD attached, it would still do this. But in this case, you need the SSD attached so that you can edit the file. Because you have to edit that. I forget where it's at, but we'll find it. I'm just clicking on try Ubuntu there on the left. Hey, what's up, Shuby? Thanks for tuning in, man. All right, so now we're back up into Ubuntu, and I'm going to click on Files. And then this is where I'm probably going to lose it because I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see here. Can I access? Yep, there we go. Okay, so I clicked on other locations over here, and now I can access the Mining OS drive, which these two right here are the, let's see here. That's probably these two, I would assume, are the Mining OS, right? So probably can't access, well, maybe I can because this is Linux. I probably can access that, but I'm going to look at Mining OS, and then there's a config folder, and then token. Now, what you're supposed to do here is copy and paste your ID for the rig. And I'll show you where to get that, but I can't show it to you because this is my actual account here, my actual hash rate. It doesn't say anything there. So, oh, that's right. Okay, so it's os.hashrate.com, not hashrateOS. My bad. All right, so log in here. Y'all better be glad I remember my logon info. That would be really embarrassing. All right, so what we do here is we go to rigs, I think, then edit, and then right here there's a system info. So if you click on that, at the bottom of that screen, it's going to have your token, your rig token, I think is what it's called. So I gotta put this on something else so that y'all don't see it. I'll put it over here. So all I'm doing is I'm clicking on system info, and then I'm scrolling down, and they actually give you a copy button. So you click copy on the rig token, what it's called. And then we're going to paste that into token.txt. And there's not really a way for me to do this. I can do that. All right. So you're going to, this will work. So we're going to put it in token.txt. You can see that the file name is right here. So all I did was I right-clicked and pasted the shit. I didn't get off of the screen over here. Dang it. All right. Y'all saw a part of my token ID down there. Not a lot, I don't think. Yeah, okay. All right, so anyway. You see some of it here, not all of it. Here, let's do it like that. All right. Don't try to mine with my shit. All right. So then we're gonna click. Let me get out of that screen behind there. Hang on a second. I got that. All right, so it should be kind of solid now. I don't know, maybe. All right, don't try to steal my rig here. All right, and then we're gonna click. So all I did was I right-clicked and then pasted, and then I'm going to save it. Now, I don't know. It didn't give me any like indication that it saved it. Don't know if it's supposed to or not. All right, so let me mess around with this for just a second and see if it did actually save it, because I don't want to. Okay, it did. All right, so clicking that save button, you don't get like a indication, any type of indication that it actually saved it, but it did. All right, so we're good now. So now again, this is the drive. This is the mining_OS partition on the USB. we saved our token, rig token to token.txt. And then now we should be able to shut down. So it wants to know if I want to shut that window down, and it's all fine. We're done with all this stuff. All right, so now it says, you know, to remove the drive, the USB drive, right? We're going to remove the USB drive, press enter. It's going to shut down again. Then, whenever we power back up, it should be back to Hashrate OS, but this time, hopefully, it has the token ID in the config.txt file, so now Hashrate OS will actually recognize it, right? The console. Crypto Mikhail, yeah, you can. This was like a specific thing where if you had a rig, there was one of my viewers was kind of mentioning this, and I don't know if this is going to actually suit him for his environment, but he's got a rig that he didn't want to take the SSD out of and then take it to another machine to do all and shut down the machine and do all this stuff that you'll have to do in order to make this work. So I was trying to figure out a way of getting it done without actually removing the SSD. And that's basically what we've done here. Now I thought, let's see here, I thought that it should be probably doing a lot of things on the back end, because this is like a first, actually, this is like a first load kind of thing. Actually, it looks like it's going, so this is a first load though. Looks like it didn't have to do much. It's already working, so as long as we see an accepted share, I'll be happy with that. There we go. All right, cool. Yeah, so this was like a very specific situation where you could boot a rig off of a USB and you didn't want to remove the SSD out of the rig, and this is just a way that you could get around all that and actually get it up and running. So that's all it is. So as you can see, the rig is recognized. It is back up and running, mining using Hashrate OS. So that's cool. And like I said at the top, you could use this method for other mining OSs. It doesn't have to be Hashrate OS. Basically anything that works the same way, where, you know, it's basically the 4 steps, right? Download the image that you want to use, the mining OS image from whatever website. Launch Balena Etcher or Rufus or whatever, burn that from the Balena Etcher, burn that to a USB, and then take the USB and then boot the rig to it, right? Hey, what's up, Crypto Christopher Walken? What's up, man? Yeah, I know. I was just describing the situation here as to the reason why you would want to do this. It was a unique case where, I'll just repeat myself again real quick. It was a unique case where a user didn't want to remove the SSD and take it to another machine. He wanted to do it from the rig running, or the rig with the SSD in place, and not remove the SSD. And I think it has something to do with like a rack system and anyway. And this might not actually work for that particular viewer, because I don't know if he has access to a screen. I don't know if it's headless or not, so I don't know if this would work. I was playing around with some remote stuff, booting up off of that Ubuntu USB, but I couldn't get any of it to work. It seems like whenever it boots up that way and you go into that like test mode of whether or not you want to use Ubuntu or install it, you know, that first screen, it seems like it doesn't allow any of those extra utilities. Although I did get an upgrade, I did upgrade it, but it just wouldn't use like VNC. It just would not find that stuff. There's probably a way of making it work. I just didn't play around with it that much. So I kind of just passed by that. But again, there might be a way of doing this without a screen attached to the rig like we have here. So if you boot to that USB and then have remote access from a PC into the rig, then that would actually alleviate, you wouldn't even have to do the screen or anything. So I think it would work either way, but hopefully this fixes the problem that this one particular user was talking about. So that's why I did this. Anyway, so I'm just kind of rambling at this point. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you found it interesting or somewhat helpful going through the steps of this, I mean, this was basically an install of Hashrate OS 2 along with how to do it from USB. We went over a lot actually in 45 minutes or 42 minutes. This is actually not bad. So yeah, cool stuff. But if you found it interesting or helpful, be sure to subscribe, like, share, all that stuff that you do down there in the bottom. And let's go ahead and keep the conversation going about this particular method in the comments below, or you could talk about anything else too. Just, I don't know, just add a comment. I'll see you guys next time. I'll probably do a premiere tomorrow, right after Red Panda, if he still does his premieres. I'm reading some of it. What's up, Bitcoin Jake? I'm reading some of his comments, and it almost sounds a little dire, but we'll get into that. Hopefully he'll do a premiere tomorrow at noon like he normally does. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Stay savage.